The lead-up to Star Wars Episode 9 is proving to be pretty exciting and leading to plenty of wild speculation. Strap on your helmets, nerve herders, you're in for a bumpy ride as we explore some of the latest spoilers and rumors from a galaxy far, far away. Disney decided to clean house in a big way ahead of The Force Awakens, declaring that all extended universe materials were no longer considered Star Wars canon. The Mouse House then set about creating its own line of short stories, comics, and books to tie in with the new continuity. And one such release might just include a huge clue about a major Episode 9 character. And Poe Dameron number 27, a conversation Poe has with Rey and Finn seems to confirm that he's been unwittingly channeling the Force all this time. Marvel's Poe Dameron comics overlap with J.J. Abrams' The Force Awakens. Number 26 explained how Dameron survived that crash and filled us in on what he did between then and rescuing Rey and Finn from the First Order. But it was the following issue that really got readers talking. In it, Dameron admits that he's been able to tap into some kind of energy while flying, prompting both Rey and Leia to suggest he's been using the Force. The seeds of this reveal were actually planted in the 2015 series Star Wars Shattered Empire, according to CBR. It's in this prelude to The Force Awakens that we learn how Luke Skywalker gave remnants of the Great Tree, a natural conduit of the Force, to Dameron's parents, who used them to grow a new tree at home on Yavin 4. Dameron even mentions growing up around this tree, further foreshadowing a connection to the Force. You'll need to take this Rise of Skywalker rumor with a generous sprinkling of Crate's finest surface salt, because it originated from an unverified source. According to The Sun, Ewan McGregor will return as Obi-Wan Kenobi for the upcoming trilogy closer, though Disney is reportedly keen to keep that fact under wraps. McGregor portrayed Obi-Wan in episodes 1 through 3 and has already reprised the role in voiceover form, speaking directly to Rey during a Force vision in 2015's The Force Awakens. He recorded some brand new dialogue for his brief audio cameo, which was mixed with lines from pre-existing Star Wars movies. His voice was actually blended with that of original Obi-Wan actor Alec Guinness, and more recent reports suggest that this approach will be taken one step further in The Rise of Skywalker. According to Star Wars enthusiast Mike Zero, J.J. Abrams will return to the moment Obi-Wan contacted Rey in The Force Awakens and flesh it out somewhat. The late Jedi Master will reportedly appear as a Force ghost, his features altered to somewhat resemble both McGregor and Guinness, and offer Rey some much-needed guidance. Dominic Monaghan of Lost and Alias's Greg Grunberg are both in The Rise of Skywalker, but they aren't the only Abrams alumni appearing. Felicity star Keri Russell is also in Episode 9, though she wasn't chosen simply because she's part of the club. According to Variety's Justin Kroll, Russell's experience made her the ideal choice. Kroll revealed, "The role calls for action-heavy fight scenes. Russell has shown her ability to perform tough stunts in projects like FX's The Americans, Mission Impossible, and Dawn of the Planet of the Apes." The name of Russell's character wasn't known at the time, but subsequent leaks shed some light. In March 2019, several merchandising images appeared online, including one of a masked woman named Zori, who appeared to be a new bounty hunter.
Bounty hunters? We don't need that scum.
Fan site Making Star Wars shared the leaked pictures, explaining, "The images give us a good look at Zori. Based on what my sources have described to me about Keri Russell's character, I can't see how this isn't the same character." Those sources, it appears, were dead on. It didn't explicitly refer to her as a bounty hunter, but Vanity Fair released a high-res photo of Russell as, quote, "the masked scoundrel Zori Bliss," after being granted exclusive behind-the-scenes access to Episode 9, seemingly confirming the rumors. Bliss was shown on, quote, "the Thieves' Quarter of snow-dusted world Kaijimi," one of 2 new planets and a possible entry point for Lando Calrissian. For fans of the original trilogy, one of the biggest moments in the Episode 9 teaser trailer was seeing Lando Calrissian back in the cockpit of the Millennium Falcon. The Hollywood Reporter revealed that Billy D. Williams was reprising the role in July 2018, but details of Calrissian's part in The Rise of Skywalker were kept under wraps in the months that followed. Early rumors suggested that the charming smuggler would be playing a significant role in the saga closer, but that doesn't appear to be the case. While his daughter is rumored to be making an appearance, Calrissian himself isn't likely to feature very predominantly because J.J. Abrams has so much to squeeze in. Inverse predicts, quote, "Lando's screen time in the movie will be on par with Admiral Akbar's short scenes in The Force Awakens." Williams kept the details of Calrissian's arc to himself at Star Wars Celebration 2019, but he was happy to defend his character's past actions. Of his divisive betrayal of Han Solo in The Empire Strikes Back, Williams said, "He was up against Darth Vader. He had to figure out something. Besides, did anybody die?" He makes a fair point, but this moment has always been a bone of contention among fans. Could Calrissian, who will apparently wear the same getup he wore when he first met Solo, be out to avenge his death as a way of finally making amends? Episode 9 will tie up a number of loose ends after all. One of the wildest Episode 9 rumors, the theory that Han Solo is alive, is partially backed up by the novelization of The Force Awakens. The book was picked apart by Uproxx, and there's a big reveal about the Starkiller base that has Harrison Ford fans speculating on an unlikely return. The book explained what the movie didn't, how the giant weapon is powered. The assumption was that it harnessed the power of the sun, but the truth is far more complicated. Uproxx's Donna Dickens reports, turns out it was never supposed to be powered by the sun. Situated in one place, messing with science they didn't understand, the First Order was harvesting dark matter to power their weapon. As the matter congealed to be sucked into the core, the light was supposed to dim. Then, using more science they barely understood, they beamed the concentrated dark matter through the galaxy instead of across it. Basically, they were ripping holes in time-space. Solo appeared to have been killed by his own son when we saw him last, but now there's a theoretical chance that he was sucked into an alternate timeline before he bled out. One fan who's excited at the prospect is director and Star Wars fanatic Kevin Smith, who tweeted, "If a plot development allows Lando to repeat his Empire Strikes Back line, there's still a chance to save Han and get us back to that fateful bridge on Starkiller Base, then I'll kiss JJ on the mouth." Numerous disgruntled Star Wars fans made their disapproval of Rian Johnson's The Last Jedi known, but the one thing that everyone seemed to agree was done right was the surprise appearance from Yoda. The little green Jedi Master showed up as a Force ghost to help troubled former student Luke Skywalker come to his senses and embrace his failures, a standout moment in the highly divisive 8th episode. Yoda was rendered in CGI for the prequel trilogy, but Johnson chose to go back to the basics and brought in Frank Oz to operate a slightly updated Yoda puppet. Creature designer Neil Scanlan said, "We just felt that it was absolutely right and proper that we create a puppet in the closest likeness to the original, and to give Frank exactly what he had the first time around." Renowned puppeteer Oz, who provides Yoda's distinctive voice as well as his movements, could soon be adding Episode 9 to his impressive resume if a new report is to be believed. According to the New York Daily News, a source with apparent knowledge of the production has revealed that J.J. Abrams is going to bring Force Ghost Yoda back. The insider dished, "The success of the scenes featuring Yoda in The Last Jedi were huge. Yoda will again appear as a ghost as he acknowledges Rey's success and growth as a Jedi." Lucasfilm's original position on Carrie Fisher's inclusion in future Star Wars movies was pretty clear. She wouldn't be appearing in any. Prior to the release of The Last Jedi, President Kathleen Kennedy told ABC, "Sadly, Carrie will not be in Episode 9. The idea that they could digitally render a version of Fisher like they did with Peter Cushing's Tarkin in Rogue One was quickly ruled out after execs met with Fisher's daughter Billie Lourd. All parties reportedly agreed that it would be disrespectful. At the time, bringing Leia back with unused footage from The Last Jedi was also said to have been off the table, but things have shifted since then. We now have confirmation from the late actress's brother that Fisher will indeed be in Episode 9, with J.J. Abrams apparently set to use footage shot for both The Last Jedi and The Force Awakens. According to ABC's Clayton Sandell, who spoke to Todd Fisher on podcast The Resistance broadcast, the family is very happy about what Abrams has planned. Sandell claimed that Todd Fisher was, quote, "very excited. The whole family is really excited about this and wanted it to happen." Sandell went on to explain, "There are big surprises coming with this movie, and with this performance, and with this unused footage. This one's really for the fans." Sandell confirmed that there's a number of minutes worth of footage from The Force Awakens and The Last Jedi for Abrams to work with. When that hashtag show reported that Disney wanted a female lead between the ages of 40 and 50 to play a character named Mara, many jumped to the conclusion that this was Rey's mother. The character does seem to fit the bill, but now there's a fresh rumor about Rey's mom, and it's a shocker. And before you say it, no, we seriously doubt that Kylo's take on Rey's parents, that they were nobodies who sold her for drinking money, holds any water. According to the theory posed by Film Threat, Episode 9 will see Rey's real mom and dad revealed to be none other than Han Solo and Emilia Clarke's Qi'ra. We were introduced to Han's first love in Solo, A Star Wars Story, a movie that could apparently end up being all about Rey's parents. Film Threat's prediction goes on to explain, Solo ended letting us know that Qi'ra has ties to the dark side. Kylo Ren is the son of Leia, a mother of the light side. Kira, a mother of the dark side, bore a light side daughter, Rey. It's the Force balancing itself. Of course, if this theory turns out to be accurate, that means Han cheated on Leia and fathered a daughter with another woman. While this could actually explain a number of things, such as why Kylo Ren resented his dad so much and why he and Rey are connected through the Force, not everyone is buying it. As Screen Rant points out, quote, "There's been nothing to indicate Han was unfaithful to Leia." The idea of Darth Vader returning to the big screen in Episode 9 might seem ludicrous on the surface, but Disney has been subtly paving the way for the heavy-breathing Sith Lord to play some part in the upcoming installment. After reading Marvel's Darth Vader comics, Screen Rant noticed one small detail that could have actually been a huge moment of foreshadowing. The ins and outs of becoming a Force ghost have been up for discussion among Star Wars fans ever since Luke Skywalker passed on in controversial fashion near the end of The Last Jedi. The assumption was that returning as a Force ghost was something only those in tune with the light side of the Force could do. But shouldn't the Sith have their own version of this phenomenon? Turns out they do, and it was explained in the pages of the Vader comic. In the story in question, Vader is gifted a mask that once belonged to another powerful Sith called Darth Mammon. Mammon's residue was still attached to the artifact when Palpatine gave it to his third and final apprentice, who used it, long story, to help erect his castle on Mustafar. The Forgotten Sith was able to influence others and tell his story to Vader via the mask. Screen Rant's prediction is that Vader will similarly influence proceedings in Episode 9, seeing as his grandson Kylo Ren is now in possession of Vader's half-melted mask. With appearances on Doctor Who and Game of Thrones under his belt, veteran character actor Richard E. Grant already had some major fan cred when he was cast in The Rise of Skywalker. As it turns out, he's a big Star Wars fanboy himself. The actor opened up about the moment J.J. Abrams told him he'd be part of the final chapter in the Skywalker saga while a guest on the Happy Sad Confused podcast, revealing how he was so excited that he couldn't actually take anything in. Grant admitted, "I'm sure Abrams was telling me in detail what part I was playing and what the character is called. I have no memory of that whatsoever. They kept saying, 'So you are going to do this, aren't you?' And I said, 'Of course I'm going to do this.'" The most popular theory was that Grant would be taking on the role of Grand Admiral Thrawn, a popular villain reintroduced into the canon in the third season of Star Wars Rebels. But the actor outright debunked that rumor when Radio Times asked him about it. Grant dished, quote, "I'm not playing the Star Wars character you just mentioned." And he wasn't lying. When Vanity Fair released a huge Episode 9 cover story in May 2019, the identity of Grant's character was finally revealed. He's playing a new villain called Allegiant General Pride. Despite being thrown to what we thought was certain death by a remorseful Anakin Skywalker in 1983's Return of the Jedi, Emperor Palpatine lives. At least that's what Abrams seemed to suggest with the first Episode 9 teaser. The footage ends with a shot of some Death Star wreckage and Palpatine's unmistakable cackle, implying that our heroes will face off against the powerful Sith in The Rise of Skywalker. As if to confirm this was the case, Palpatine actor Ian McDiarmid appeared on stage at Star Wars Celebration 2019 during the teaser reveal.
This was such an unexpected moment.
I know, it shocked me.
But how will Abrams explain his way out of this one? Theory crafters already have a few different ideas. MovieWeb reminded readers that, in the prequel films, Palpatine has referenced Dark Plagueis, a Sith Lord so powerful and wise, quote, he could use the Force to influence the midichlorians to create life. Alternatively, the site argued, the Emperor might use a loophole introduced in Star Wars Rebels, the so-called World Between Worlds in the hidden Jedi Temple on Lothal. Apparently, Palpatine, quote, sought to manipulate it as he could travel through time by using the Force. Elsewhere, IGN believes that Abrams might actually be taking some inspiration from an expanded universe comic. In Dark Empire, Palpatine resurrects himself several times via clones, transferring his spirit to different bodies. The first teaser for The Rise of Skywalker gave theorists plenty to work with. Now that the Emperor's presence has been all but confirmed, it's safe to assume that he'll be involved in the film's final battle. Who, where, and how he'll be battling, we don't know for sure. But according to Making Star Wars editor Jason Ward, there's a huge rumor doing the rounds that pits Kylo Ren against Palpatine in the form of actor Matt Smith. Yep, this guy, this silly dude right here. The British actor has been telling journalists that he isn't in Episode 9, but that's contrary to reports. Even international Disney websites are listing the former Doctor Who star among the cast, and Jason Ward believes he'll play a critical role. The mega fan reported, "A really solid source over the years passed on something they heard internally. The rumor is that Matt Smith isn't Palpatine reborn or rejuvenated, but a dark side acolyte. During the final act of the film, Rey and Kylo team up to fight the Palpatine-possessed Matt Smith. Ward's inside source claims that Kylo Ren gets possessed by the Emperor after killing his host body, leading to a moment of redemption. The tormented son of Han Solo and Leia Organa has enough light in him to lay down his arms so Rey can finish the job, becoming Ben Solo again in his final moments. With Kylo Ren dead and Rey too pure for the Emperor to possess, the fight is won. Most fans seemed pretty unhappy that The Last Jedi neglected the Knights of Ren. Kylo Ren's band of warriors appeared briefly in The Force Awakens when Rey touches Luke Skywalker's lightsaber and triggers a vision, but they were left out of Rian Johnson's follow-up because he, quote, just didn't see a place for them in the movie. According to Vanity Fair, we're finally going to get some answers in the upcoming trilogy capper, with sources at Disney confirming theories that the, quote, long-rumored Knights of Ren will finally arrive in Skywalker. We got our first good look at the unit in Annie Leibovitz's extensive photo shoot, and what's immediately clear is that they're not your typical Star Wars villains. In contrast to the sleek and shiny look adopted by the First Order and the Galactic Empire before it, the Knights of Ren wear dirty ragtag armor and carry over-the-top weapons. Vanity Fair's Joanna Robinson observed, their DIY look, including one especially lethal-looking gun arm, would be equally at home in one of the Mad Max movies. Their identities have not yet been revealed, though fans think they have a pretty good idea about where they came from. In The Last Jedi, Luke reveals that Ren vanished with a handful of his Padawan learners when he set the temple ablaze and turned his back on the Jedi. Did Luke's former students become the Knights of Ren? Only time, as they say, will tell. Check out one of our newest videos right here, plus even more Looper videos about your favorite stuff are coming soon. Subscribe to our YouTube channel and hit the bell so you don't miss a single one.